If you've got outdoor plans this weekend, folks, then listen up because you might get wet or you might just get blown away with high winds. We've got big time severe weather over the next couple of days for parts of the United States and a couple of hurricanes in the Gulf. What? Are you kidding me? Let's take a look at that too while we're at it. And we've got a pattern change to talk about. So those are the three topics on the list today. First, severe weather, severe weather, severe weather. We've been in a multi-day severe weather event now for several days. We've seen softball size hail and lots of it out in the southern plains and tornadoes to boot. And we've got more of the same on the way, though those areas may get a bit of a reprieve today as the focus shifts over toward the Tennessee Valley and Dixie Alley into the lower mid-Atlantic and upper southeast. As you can see here on the map, the SPC has outlined those areas for a slight and even enhanced risk for severe weather today. Looking at the probabilities, tornadoes are possible, though not likely a tornado event in terms of an outbreak, but we've got severe wind possible today, folks. We've got a big line and cluster of showers and thunderstorms, and I'll show you that in a minute. That's going to move through this afternoon, strengthen, bringing strong winds, a big swath of that through the area that's in the enhanced risk from Memphis down here to upper Mississippi and Tupelo and into places like Huntsville and over into Atlanta, Georgia, folks. This afternoon, you need to pay attention around that. We've got a slight risk where we're going to see additional segments, clusters of showers and thunderstorms develop through the day, and then a marginal risk around that even up here in North and South Dakota and western Minnesota, too. You can see a few wind events, a little isolated burst of severe weather. Taking a look here at the alerts map this morning, flood watches are up for the panhandles of Texas and Oklahoma, at least the northern part of Texas, into central Oklahoma. And then we've got a big cluster of storms moving through Arkansas, severe thunderstorms breaking out with that, flash flood warnings as well. So we've got some high winds going on out here this morning, all kinds of air quality alerts up here in northern New England and even in Indiana. And we've got flood watches up here for parts of the area too that could pick up a couple of inches of rain. Heat advisories up in Washington, where we can see temperatures soaring into the 90s up there today. Radar confirms what I showed you before. A little cluster of showers here moving out of Nebraska and Kansas into Iowa and northwestern Missouri. And then the big focus here is back where we see these line segments. You can see these if I zoom in here a little bit, you can see those a little bit better. See, there's one moving right through Memphis now. High winds here with this line segment, one pushing out of Little Rock and moving in toward the east here, toward Memphis and toward Mississippi too. A lot of shower activity up here in Virginia, from Virginia up into eastern Pennsylvania, up into the northeast as well. You can see that kind of showing up very nicely here and moving to the east and northeast over time. So heavy rain with this too, folks. So that's what's going on out there right now. Looking at really the winds over the next couple of days, this is mid-level winds. I'm going to roll this back so you can see what's going on here. We've got sort of this west to east flow across the south. We've got another intrusion of essentially a big closed low working into the plains. That's going to bring a cold front down here toward the southern plains tomorrow. That's going to be the focus for a big time organized thunderstorm complex in MCS to move through the areas of the panhandle into Oklahoma and northern Texas and bring high winds out here, potentially gusting as much as 100 miles per hour in spots. So going to have to really batten down the hatches here, folks. But that's what's going on right now. West to east movement and little pieces of energy in the flow. Watch this as we go through the next couple of days. You can kind of see little wind jetlets pick up through here as we go through time, and you can see all of those colors kind of get brighter and they'll wane a little bit and then they'll re-brighten again. But that's what's going on over the next couple of days. We get on out here into Monday morning, and so this upper low is coming into the Great Lakes, bringing little spokes of energy around that. The southern branch of the jet stream is still active. We've got a split flow pattern. As long as we have split flow, we're going to see an active pattern with energy coming in both branches of the jet stream. Sometimes they'll merge and meet and phase up, and sometimes they won't. But in any event, we've got an active pattern the next few days. Looking at the Cape this afternoon, so instability today. We've got a kind of a bisection of the southeast. So basically from southern Tennessee up into North Carolina, along into the eastern seaboard, and south of there we see Cape, especially the yellow and orange and reds. Those are high thunderstorm instability values as we go through this afternoon. Mid-morning in the afternoon, that increases a little bit through Arkansas, Mississippi, Alabama, Georgia, South Carolina, eastern North Carolina, and you can see that increase through the afternoon. Thunderstorms will begin to eat that up, and then finally we'll get some cooling later on in the evening, and that will diminish a bit. And you can see that kind of happening here as we go through the overnight hours tonight, but we're still going to see thunderstorms move through, supercells potentially out west, potentially merging into, actually already merging into a line. We'll see additional line segments develop as we go through the evening. And here's what it looks like right now. We've got the HRRR is doing a pretty good job picking up that line, moving into Memphis now. So watch this as we go through the day. Here's that cluster in Missouri and another cluster up here around New Jersey. Watch this as we go through the afternoon. That will continue to intensify and just sweep in this bowing fashion. That's where you get these winds, these outflow boundaries sort of pool together, they merge, you get a little bit of a jet kind of coming in behind that, and that just pushes all of this forward, and you get a big wind event coming through the border of Tennessee, upper Alabama, upper Georgia, and on in through the evening. Thunderstorms breaking out here in the mid-Atlantic and northern southeast here in the coastal plain of North Carolina. Thunderstorms through, showers and storms through the Ohio Valley and lower Great Lakes region. Mid-Mississippi Valley, thunderstorms and showers popping out across the mid-Atlantic into the northeast as well. And watch this bow segment as it just goes on in. We get on into the evening hours. We're seeing another little line segment develop here across the border of Tennessee, Alabama, Mississippi. That bow will continue to move into North Carolina, Georgia, and weaken as we get into nocturnal cooling, and then a little bit more of showers and thunderstorms developing here through Alabama, back into Oklahoma and Texas potentially as well. So a pretty rainy day for a lot of areas here in the east central section of the country. Looking out at tomorrow, though, this is where we could really start to see a big time wind event develop back here in the southern plains. We've got a slight risk from the eastern Virginia down into southeastern Georgia, so we could see clusters of thunderstorms develop tomorrow out here. Tornado threats a little bit higher as we've got some more rotation in the atmosphere to work with back here from Amarillo up toward Abilene, just north of Dallas, and into Oklahoma City, Wichita Falls, places like that. Around there, you've got a 2% risk of tornadoes, and then, of course, a 2% over here in the Delmarva region, too. Wind looks to be the primary threat, though, as that organized line of storms gets together and pushes through with very high winds, potentially gusting 80 to 100 miles per hour as that thing gets organized and sweeps through the panhandle of Texas and really matures as it gets into northern Texas and southern Oklahoma through the evening hours tomorrow. Slight risk of wind surrounding that, 15% chance. And of course, again, in the coastal plain too, large hail, softball size, potentially again tomorrow too, and a 30% hatched here in those areas. We're going to see those supercells start to develop. Tornadoes are going to be a threat. Big hail is going to be a threat. Big wind's going to be a threat. Those coalesce through the evening. A strong jet, low-level jet begins to fill in as the evening wears on and really organize those thunderstorms into a big bow that sweeps through. Could be like a derecho event. We'll have to see how that pans out. But that's what's looking likely tomorrow. Cape tomorrow evening, afternoon, evening. We'll look here at the morning. Start here in the morning. As we get on into the afternoon, look here over Texas. Strong to extreme Cape values possible in these areas. That means lots of fuel for thunderstorm development. Those updrafts are going to be rapidly moving upwards, suspending hailstones, making larger hailstones, rotating as well. So we're going to see thunderstorms, potentially a few strong tornadoes could pop out of those storms before things organize. But when you start to see these really purple colors, you're getting into the 4,000 or 5,000 range, and that is really big instability. We're seeing strong instability here in eastern North Carolina too tomorrow, and then across the south. So that's what we're looking at from an instability standpoint. That will continue through the early overnight hours Monday and then diminish a bit. And looking at the lightning display on the Euro, watch this as we get on into tomorrow morning. We start to see supercells pop out, a few line segments develop, and look at this. Thunderstorms all in North Carolina, all along the southern portion of the southeast. But look here in Texas, you get a big cluster starting to develop here. That is going to be a big problem tomorrow, folks, is all of that works together, merges together, and then sends a bow or line segment into Oklahoma and northern Texas. All of that will diminish in North Carolina as we go through the evening and down into the south as well. But that's what we're going to see. And as we run this on out in time just for fun, you're going to see segments continue through the evening hours, diminish in the early morning hours, then pop up again through the afternoon. And so over the next bunch of days, we're going to see showers and thunderstorms across the south, and you can kind of see those working through here as we go on out in time. More energy is going to come in. So essentially, this whole entire area is going to be a hotbed for shower and thunderstorm activity, and a few spots here and there are going to see severe weather out of that. So that's what's going on. We look on out into Monday, severe possibilities down here in much of the southeast, particularly the lower southeast. So just pay attention, big marginal risk for more isolated severe weather nature. Some of that could be upgraded as well from the Ohio Valley back into southern Texas and all of that. So watch out as we go on through the next few days, folks. Taking a look at the surface map this afternoon. So we've got that frontal boundary that's set up from the New England area all the way back into North Texas, and south of that's where we find in the most unstable air and the most ability for thunderstorms to organize and develop into not only severe weather, but a heavy rain threat. It's kind of hiding behind this yellow, but it's back in here from eastern Oklahoma, back through western Georgia, across the upper southeast and Dixie Alley. So pay attention there. This afternoon, thunderstorms, showers are possible anywhere from the northern plains to the southern plains and on east up into New England. Maybe the upper Great Lakes get a little bit more, a little bit of a break there. And then out west, you guys are looking pretty good out there. Tomorrow, much the same story. New England gets a break. Maybe parts of Florida get a break. Out west, you're fine, but anywhere in these green areas, you could see showers as the day progresses tomorrow. Certainly, this big upper low coming in is going to create instability and showers up in those areas. Here is the rainfall over the next 2 days. So plenty of rain up here across the northern tier over the next 2 days, mostly east of the Rocky Mountains. We're going to find rain, at least in some spots, over the next 48 hours. So South Texas, you may stay dry. Parts of Florida may stay dry. Upper eastern Great Lakes, maybe you're a little bit dry up here in Canada, but everybody else has the potential for rain. Heavier rain is going to be back in Oklahoma and Texas, where flood watches are up, and then a little bit lesser amount down east, but still 1 to 2 inches, a good possibility there. Through the Ohio Valley too, mid-Atlantic and into the Northeast too, we could see an inch or two more of rain. So it's going to be kind of an off and on rainy weekend in spots. High temperatures, cool in the Northeast today in the 70s, low 70s across much of the northern sections of the country. Into the nation's midsection, we start to see a little bit of a rebound back to the 80s, but southeast coast all the way down across the southern tier and zooming up here into the west coast states, we're finding 80s, 90s, and even hundreds in the desert southwest along the border counties. Tomorrow, looking at much the same story as this low moves in out of Canada, 50s and 60s up here in the northern plains and Midwest. It's going to be cool. 70s south of that, we start to find the southern third of the nation in the 80s and above. And that is your forecast back here, still hot in the west. That's your forecast, folks, for the next couple of days. Your weekend forecast, your severe weather outlook. Hurricanes in the Gulf, courtesy of the GFS. But before we take a look at that, look at this. Eastern Pacific, we're seeing a couple of areas of activity out here. These have a high likelihood, at least one of them will develop into a tropical storm more than likely, but it's moving west-northwest, so all of this will eventually, if it develops, and it probably will move out here to sea and threaten nobody, at least for now. The GFS continues to have its fun with hurricanes, and watch this. We get on out here into 216 hours out. That's just around 8 days or so, 8 or 9 days out. Look at this. Hurricane coming in. Boom, Texas. Sorry, you're destroyed. And don't stop there. Continue. There's another one coming in. Florida Panhandle. Boom, at the end of the run. 16 days out. The GFS says, hey, if I can't get you with one, I'll hit you with the deuce, the twofer. All right, so that's what's going on with the GFS. What about the European? Does it show the same thing? Let's take a look. I don't know. Actually, I do know, because the GFS is a laughing stock of a model. Look at this. Absolutely nothing going on out here in the Gulf with the European. So we should be good. Actually, it shows a little bit of a signal for a cluster of showers and thunderstorms around 300 hours out. But I mean, good grief. That somebody needs to get in there and fix the GFS, folks. Pattern change inbound. Look at this. We've got big low moving in Monday afternoon, Tuesday. That's going to eventually, as we get on into midweek, pull out, leaving ridging for much of the country. But we've still got an active subtropical jet bringing a weakness into Texas. And as long as we've got an active subtropical jet, we're going to see energy in the flow, potentially producing showers and thunderstorms, ridging going up over across the central plains into the east coast, with the exception of the northeast and the west coast, where we see a trough working in there. But look over time, ridging builds across much of the entire country except for the Pacific Northwest, and then eventually over time sort of flattens out as the the flow tends to lean toward climatology, but that's going to mean above normal temperatures as we get on out in time. Day 6 to 10, June the 12th through the 16th, approaching mid-month. High signal for above normal temperatures across the north, a little bit below in Texas where we've got that little trough in the southern branch of the jet stream, and of course trough working into the west keeps us below out here, above in Alaska and Hawaii. And then above normal precipitation for much of the nation with the exception of southern Florida, northern New England, and the Pacific Southwest, where we could see basically normal conditions below in Alaska, to the south, above, and then above in Hawaii. So that is your forecast in a few minutes, folks. But stay safe, stay weather aware this weekend. If you get a chance, subscribe to the channel, hit us with a like. Yeah, that helps a lot. Make a comment. Pray for you guys every day. Pray for me. And if there's something I can pray specifically for, put it out there. I did a short with my son, Cold Drizzle, this morning. He graduated school, so let us know if you want to make a comment about that. Congratulate him. That's certainly appreciated. And anyway, that's it, folks. I hope you have a wonderful rest of the weekend. And take care, and we'll be back probably Monday with another video. See ya.